Hi everyone, this is Joseph Pedoriano, bringing you episode 6 of the Next Level series. What we do in this series is bring business people on the show to have them talk about their organizations, as well as featuring those from the nonprofit sector on the show. The business people we meet are great, unique, creative, and innovative, and our goal is to showcase their business to all of you. Today, we're going to meet Maria Carrozza, the co-owner of Cakechef's Piece of Cake, Cakechef's Cookie Jar, and the Cakechef Bakery. In 1988, the Cakechef was founded by Maria and her husband James, who is the Cakechef himself, by the way, as one amazing bakery on Jewett Avenue right here in Staten Island, and has grown dramatically ever since due to an incredible reputation that has been developed in the past 32 years and due to impeccable customer service and delicious products. The Cakechef brand has 4 locations, which consists of the flagship location, of course, in Jewett Avenue, the Cakechef Bakery, the Cookie Jar on Forest Avenue, and the Cookie Jar on Dorp Lane, as well as Cakechef's Piece of Cake on Dorp Lane, located adjacent to the Cookie Jar. The Cakechef brand is an ever-growing brand, which is passed on from generation to generation. And today we're here to introduce Maria Carrozza. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be with you tonight.
It's great to have you on the show. So tell us how your organization got established.
Well, back in 1988, my husband and I were dating, and we were, like everyone else on Staten Island, or I would say more than 50% of us, from Brooklyn. And his sister lived out here, and when he was interested in purchasing a bakery, naturally, one of the places we looked besides Brooklyn bakeries were Staten Island bakeries. And we found a really quaint little hole in the wall called Myers Corner Bakery. And so it's on Jewett Avenue, and that's what brought us to Staten Island.
Talk about how you came up with the branding, the Cakechef. Although he is the Cakechef, talk about the branding. Elaborate more on that.
Well, James is known in Staten Island as your local neighborhood baker, the Cakechef. And he gave himself that name many, many years ago. In 1988, right when he was around looking to buy a place, he was dreaming about his dream bakery and what he would name it. And right away, he thought of the Cakechef. So he named it the Cakechef. And now his name is really synonymous with being called the Cakechef. Whenever people see him down the road at the post office, at the local diner getting breakfast, at the supermarket, picking up some peanut butter for his famous peanut butter cookies, he will be James the Cakechef. There he is.
That's so awesome. So tell us, how you started out. Tell us your story per se. Talk about your story.
Well, I had a part-time job when I was in high school at a little local bakery on Fort Hamilton Parkway in Brooklyn. And James was already working at a place called the Market Diner in Manhattan, in Hell's Kitchen. So one day he was driving through from his Borough Park home through Fort Hamilton Parkway to 86th Street, where he used to go work out at Gold's Gym. And on his way, he stopped at my bakery for an Italian ice, and we met. And our friends we had in common that we didn't really know kept introducing. We had opportunities that we were introduced over time. So over the course of a year, we kept bumping into each other. And so eventually, we winded up making magic happen, and we had the right recipe.
That's so awesome. So tell us all about your organization. Talk about your organization.
Well, the Cakechef, as we said, started off very modest in Myers Corner of Staten Island in 1988. And it really was difficult in the beginning to build it up because we didn't really have money for advertising. So word of mouth is the way our business grew, or organically. So over the course of maybe the first 5 to 10 years, a lot of local residents started talking to other residents on Staten Island, and soon enough, we became a staple in the neighborhood of Westerly. And after we had established ourselves for quite some time, I think we were approaching our 20th year, we decided that it was time to maybe expand. I had stopped working in the city, of course, started the business with him, but continued to work in the city after graduating college. And working with him on holidays and weekends was what I did. However, once I stayed home with the kids and raised the kids, we have 2 sons. One of them is in the business right now and working as a baker at the original shop, the Cakechef.
Salvatore.
Yeah, Salvatore. So when we decided that it was time for either I was going to go back to work in the city, which I absolutely loved, or expand the business, we chose to expand the business together. And that's when the cookie jar was born. So that was an amazing, amazing time for us. It was really an interesting new kind of bakery for us. It was not your full service bakery. It was going to be specializing just in cookies, all handmade, all individual recipes, which is not really what we grew up with in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, there was one cookie that every bakery made, and there's still some bakeries that keep the same recipe, and they just use the same cookie batter and recipe and make 100 different cookies all covered in different color sprinkles. We didn't do that. What James had been honing for 20 years at the Cakechef is unique and different recipes and different cookies. So we had an extensive line of cookies before we opened up the cookie jar that we thought, let's give this a shot and just have a bakery dedicated to all of these great cookie recipes that you have been, experimenting with over the last 20 years. And then it became a hit, and we really expanded with shipping all over the country, his cookies, and delivering all over Staten Island, door to door. So it really grew and expanded.
That's awesome how that has happened. And talk to us about Piece of Cake. That's like an incredible venture within itself.
Well, once we had the second shop, which was a great dream that we realized under our belt, we were very confident thinking, well, we did 2. We can definitely go ahead, and got motivated to do a third. And that's when Piece of Cake came into play. About 5 years after the cookie jar, we thought, let's get a third bakery on the books here and see what we can do as far as an innovative idea. And so this one was really out of our comfort zone because we incorporated food, and we incorporated a very small breakfast menu in the beginning. And now to date, it's been 8 years. We have a pretty large menu of salads, soups, sandwiches, as well as a big breakfast.
And a lot of drinks too, a lot of bubble teas, a lot of delicious things like that.
Yeah, we were always at Piece of Cake geared towards beverage. So we have all your lattes, cappuccinos, coffees. We've got unusual things like red velvet coffee, sticky toffee coffee, Cinnabon coffee, and we have fresh squeezed juices as well in our beverage line, like watermelon juice right now, this time of year. It's in season. It's delicious and refreshing. Apple, carrot, celery juice, which is one of my favorite when I feel like I need a little bit of, vitamin K and a little bit of zinc. I try to go for the more healthy juices.
Yes, exactly. It's truly incredible what you folks have built up in such a short period of time. 30 years, you have 4 businesses that are thriving, thank God, and that are doing great. And honestly, your businesses not only built up themselves, but they built up communities. Westerly will never be the same, because of your business. It's like so amazing.
Thank you.
New Dorp got transformed dynamically because of Piece of Cake and the cookie jar. The same thing with the cookie jar in Forest Avenue. That part of Forest Avenue got a big voice. Like when your organization comes to a location, it makes noise, like really loud noise, which is a great thing.
Thank you.
So yeah, I really appreciate that as somebody who's a Staten Island resident and somebody who's a local businessman around here. It's truly a big deal in that aspect. So I want to talk about this. What makes your organization unique, and what makes it ultimately stand out? I noticed about the food and all that stuff. The food's amazing, but there are other aspects too, such as the theming. You have a great attention to detail, I noticed. Talk to me about that.
Well, everything is in the details. The first thing that we do is we don't cut on good quality ingredients. So if you're going to start off with your foundation with great ingredients like real delicious butter, and none of those butter substitutes or shortening, which is also very typical that a lot of bakeries, especially the ones we grew up with in Brooklyn, that was really the only thing that you would find closest to butter. There was no butter in the bakeries. So we use butter, we use whole milk, and we just try to always keep with good quality fruits and vegetables also. Speaking of the cakes, we use a lot of fruit in our cakes. We'll have delicious plump raspberries brought in from our surveyors, from our vendors. We will have delicious raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, mangoes, papaya, just really nice fresh fruit that we try to keep a good handle on, making sure that they're the best that they can be and in season.
Wow. And talk to us about the theming. You have a lot. I notice every place has a certain theme to it. So talk to us about each place and each theme, starting with whatever you want to start with.
Well, the original one is always the best place to start. The oldest one, over 30 years now at the Cakechef. That was really a place where it's been a bakery for, I think, almost 100 years. And originally it was a German bakery. It's been in the same location. As a matter of fact, one time in the Staten Island Advance, the local newspaper out here, you could find that they have these like sections where they'll say, where was this on Staten Island? And there's an old shot, I think, in the 1940s of Myers Corner Bakery, and it's the storefront, which still is the same storefront that we're using there.
Wow.
And so with the real old-fashioned full-service bakery theme, we have wood paneling, like tongue and groove in there, and a really quaint, small atmosphere of welcome and comfort when you walk in there. Then we have our cookie jar, which is more of an urban kind of city-like vibe, where we have 400 cookie jars on display, floor to ceiling, with all these beautiful different color and varieties of cookies in these showcases, beautifully lit. And we have a really nice wall dedicated to musical instruments. So it's a really hip kind of shop. And the piece of cake, on the other hand, is a different theme altogether. It's very industrial looking. A lot of the Williamsburg places that were popping up in the last 10 years have been very hip. They just basically look like they opened up these lofty garage spaces, just opened up these garage doors and made these eateries out of these, really nice industrial looking spaces. And so we wanted to go with that kind of look, and we built the piece of cake with that in mind. So it's a lot of recycled brick and recycled and reused products that we use to decorate it. There are light fixtures or awnings, these steel heavy beams, like if you go in there and you'll see that we turn them into light fixtures. So that's really cool. And we use a lot of I-beams that existed, and we brought in some more I-beams to just keep with that industrial theme.
You even go as far as putting a fountain in the cookie jar. I know that. And I love that one.
A few years ago, when we expanded into the space next door at the Piece of Cake, we were able to get the space available next door, and we pushed into that space. We made a really great water fountain that does recycle the water, so we're not wasting water. We're recycling, I don't know how, it's about 6 feet tank, a 6-foot tank in the basement that keeps recycling, and it looks like a broken pipe, but it's a really nice,
amazing.
Yeah.
Talk to us about you have an amazing team too, by the way. You have amazing staff. Talk to us about your staff.
Well, no business runs with just 1 or 2 people. It takes a team of people, Joseph, to get the word that you're going to build a family atmosphere, and that's what we try to do. So our team is very close to us. I mean, we spend more time with our team than with our own blood relatives, right? So we're very, very close, and we become very close. And some of the staff even socializes after work together and become very good friends. These are lifelong relationships that we're building in the bakery.
That's really important. A lot of companies cannot attest to that, and the fact that your company has managed to do that speaks volumes about the leadership, because it all stems from the top. You bring that positive vibe onto your employees, then they bring it onto the customers, and that's a very amazing model that your company follows in that aspect, and I tremendously respect that. And so I want to talk about this. I remember talking about building up neighborhoods. Talk to us about how you made a positive impact in each area that you've opened up your business in.
Well, from the very beginning, we're big supporters in the community, especially with public schools, a lot of PTA fundraisers. Schools just don't have the funding that they need in order to do a lot of extra programs like music or after school activities to keep the kids off the street and engaged and learning and safe environments. So a lot of times a school will ask us to contribute to their fundraiser, whether it's a Mother's Day plant sale versus a holiday December themed fundraising festival that they're throwing, or a father-daughter dance, or a mother-daughter fashion show. Whatever the school systems are putting on to raise money, we're there with the Cakechef gift certificate or Cakechef goodies that they give out at the event in order to help them, get the funds that they need to do all of these extra activities.
That's incredible. That's just an amazing thing. And I noticed that whenever you come to an area, it's just like, you're God's gift to the area practically.
Oh, thanks.
I'm being brutally honest here. You bring light to an area. Your company brings light to an area.
It's kind of you to say. We have involved in the Victory Merchants Group, with also very involved with the New Dorp Improvement District that I'm actually one of the people on the board. So I'm very involved in that. And as far as community, we are, as merchants, gathering together to make the community a better, friendlier, safer, funner place that you want to live and you want your families to be raised in. And so that's what we're trying to do in all of the shopping areas that my bakeries are in. We try to become part of that neighborhood, knowing that we're there supporting the different businesses, schools, and community members. Gives us a lot of gratification.
And every local business, I notice, they're all like, they love you guys. They love you and James very much, and they love your brand big time. And that's one important thing that's so crucial, because the fact that you have almost like not partnerships, but sort of like people who are aligned with your business speaks volumes. And that really, the fact that, and the reason why is because you ingratiate yourself in the community. That's just the reality here. You ingratiate your business in the community, and that's a big deal. So,
well, it starts with the team. We have a lot of people that have worked for us that we're still in contact with them. They've gone on. A lot of our sales team starts off with us as teenagers and high school students. So, we mentor them. We sometimes are able to work with them through college. If they don't go off the island and away to college, they stay with us and our, business. And we just love being able to keep in contact with them. And some of them, we've gone to their weddings. We've been invited to their children's birthday parties, and we keep in great contact with a good number of them.
That's so awesome. That's just incredible. I'm so happy to hear that. So talk to us about, what food products does your organization provide? Talk about that in that aspect, the food products,
Well, we have cake. We have plenty of different kinds of cookies, and the newer, bigger place, the cafe, also offers like Israeli salads an avocado and beet salad, arugula goat cheese salad, turkey sandwiches, roast beef sandwiches. We've got hot cavatelli and sausage pasta dishes, macaroni and cheese, peanut butter and jelly with banana sandwiches. We've got different kinds of soups like lentil, broccoli, minestrone, escarole and bean, pureed tomatoes, so many different kinds of soups that we introduce week to week. They vary. And also the breakfast is really amazing. If you haven't had our buttermilk pancakes, you definitely need to have them. And our French toast, very, very delicious.
I love your French toast. I've had that before, plenty of times.
Thank you, thank you. We make our brioche in-house every morning. So we bake our own brioche bread, and that's what we use, a little bit of a sweet bread for the French toast.
Yeah.
And buttermilk pancakes we make from scratch. Again, it's not a boxed, not to knock the boxes that all of us as busy moms at home need to grab and make it easy for us to just make and whip up pancakes for the family. These are buttermilk pancakes made from scratch. So I do that at home too. I get the flour, I measure it out, the eggs, the milk, little bit of, other things in there, salt, pepper, not pepper, salt. So, there's a lot of things from scratch that we make there that are delicious.
That's fantastic. That shows, so you have like probably around 10,000 menu items. No, I'm just being hyperbolic, but
It's a lot.
Countless menu items. So talk to us about this in this aspect. Talk to us about how your organization presents its message to the public. Talk to us about what makes your organization awesome.
Well, thank you, Joe. It's not like a goal. Being a business owner and an entrepreneur, you don't set your goal to be awesome. You set your goal to have a good business in the sense that you try to support the community, the people around you, care about the team that's helping you build your business and your brand. And then everything else really just falls into place. If you work hard and you do need to be dedicated at it, you can't just wake up in the morning and say, I don't feel like going to work today. This is a constant
24/7.
24/7, just like your business, Joe, which I know you started a few years ago. You sleep and you breathe it. And when you sleep and you breathe it, and people see that you work hard and your team starts appreciating how much work and effort you put into it, it motivates them to do the same. And so now you build your brand, you build your team. And after that, that's when the awesome comes in.
Exactly.
When everything falls into place.
I remember you used to tell me your husband would wake up at 4 a.m. to run to the Cakechef.
Yes.
And you would be there until like late at night practically. And you're still there until late at night. And your husband still goes to work early in the morning.
Yes, well, his 4 a.m. days are over. Our son Salvatore now does those. He's in earlier, earlier in the morning.
Wow.
But James now, he'll get up after 6 a.m., which is late for him. So, yeah, he used to go to work, get up at 3 a.m. just to be at work 3:30, 4 o'clock. I would show up at the Cakechef in those first, few years at 5:30. We both commuted from Brooklyn, started a couple of years before we got married and moved to Staten Island. And that's the way we used to open the door at 6 a.m. It continues to open and serve customers at 6 a.m. at the Cakechef, which is unbelievable.
I agree 100,000%. That is impeccable. And customers come that early sometimes, a lot of times, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, when they get older, they can't really sleep. So they're over there ready for their cup of coffee. They don't want to make it at home. They're really coming out to be social too. It's not just a matter of, I got to get out of the house. I'd like to get up and see, the girls that are working or the boys that are working in the morning at Cakechef at the counter and give them a great hello and get a great cup of coffee and a fresh baked donut. And it just starts off the day really right for some people. So yeah, there's a handful that come before 6 a.m. and they're ready for us.
That's awesome. So talk about, what makes people choose your brand? Why do people choose your brand? Give us a bunch of reasons why that's the case.
Well, I don't think that my customers are totally just pigeonholed into my shops on Staten Island. I think variety is the spice of life. I encourage them to find favorites at different bakeries. I don't get upset if people go to different bakeries. I know some people want allegiance and loyalty. I just want everybody to enjoy life. So if it means my strawberry shortcake is better than the guy around the corner or down the block, and you like their chocolate mousse better, by all means, enjoy everything. Pick your favorites out. They do come to us because I think the staff, for the most part, remembers everyone's name. They remember how, let's say, they like their cup of coffee or what they get every Sunday morning when they walk in. Maybe they'll get that walnut kringle every Sunday. So it's really comforting with the staff that we have, because we don't have a lot of change around, a lot of turnover in staff. There's a constant staff member there, and you get to know the customers. So after a while, they like to come back because, like that song on the Cheers show, you like to go where everybody knows your name. That's the kind of thing that people like. They do enjoy meeting my staff day in and day out.
It's fantastic. So talk about your goals. Every business owner has an amazing goal. And so I want you to talk about your short-term objectives and your long-term goals for the future. Talk about that.
Well, I would say the short term within the next 12 months would be to open up another unique bakery on Staten Island. We are not going to say the name. We've already got it in motion.
My lips are sealed.
We're trying to get the permits now to build it out. And it's going to be a really exciting, another kind of bakery in the works. So stay tuned, 2021. A new Cakechef bake shop will be opening.
Mm-hmm. So, your long-term goals. What are your long-term goals?
Long-term goals would be to really have a lot of cookie jars. I think that's the most one that inspires me to duplicate it and to have it in different cities in the tri-state area, and then hopefully beyond. So I would say a long-term goal, maybe a 10-year plan, is to have about another 10 to 15 cookie jars.
Wow.
So that would be something that we're going to look into.
And people, I've heard from people that they want to open up under your company's name. Have you ever thought about doing that or not?
We're not sure. We're a little afraid to give away the quality control aspect of that. To sell your name, to sell the way you do things and the recipes is good, but can they maintain the integrity of the brand that you've struggled to build? And that's what concerns us. So I'm not sure if we would allow our brand to be sold outright and have someone else manage it, or if we would still want to have a control over it so that there's quality assurances. Because, there have been other small mom and pop kind of businesses like ours that have tried to do that, like, that famous cupcake place. They opened up with one location in Manhattan years ago, and then they sold. They became like a corporate kind of bakery, and they duplicated it everywhere. But I have to say, I think now if you fast forward 10 years after they originally started, they are not thriving. They closed up most of those shops that the corporation had opened and reproduced. They just didn't do well. Something was missing in their recipe. Maybe it was the original owners and their vision. Something absolutely got overbaked.
Wow. So where can people find your organization? Talk about that. Where people can find your organization, where they can see your organization, where they can learn about your organization.
You could walk into the 3 different shops on Staten Island. The Piece of Cake is in New Dorp at 177 New Dorp Lane. The Cakechef is in Westerly at 957 Jewett Avenue off the corner of Victory Boulevard. And then 1 mile up the street from that is the Cookie Jar at 1226 Forest Avenue in West Brighton. So, all 3 locations are in totally different neighborhoods. There's a different vibe to the neighborhood. Each bakery has its own vibe, its own theme. Each shop has independent kitchens and independent staffers. We don't really have a lot of staffers that go between the 3 shops right now. There's very few. So a lot of them are just dedicated to one location. So you can definitely find us online also, Joseph. You can have cookies shipped anywhere in the USA at cookiejarnyc.com. And you can look up our delivery options for food on Staten Island at pieceofcakenyc.com.
Yep. And at order.pieceofcakenyc.com too.
Yes. Well, there's a link on our main website for the ordering page for the food. So now you can also get food home delivery.
Exactly. Your brand is truly tremendous, and
Thank you.
it's a brand. Every time I go there, I feel like I'm in heaven. I gotta be honest.
Oh,
I don't think that often.
What's your favorite cake or dessert, Joe?
Oh God, I got a lot of them.
You like the brownies?
I love the brownies. I'll tell you what I like, and you notice that I order this every time I go there. The red velvet donut. That's my favorite one. And there's the cannoli cream donut.
And don't forget, every time you walk in, I ask you, what flavor bubble tea do you want today, Joe?
Mango.
That's your drink favorite, right?
And yep. And at the cookie jar, my favorite cookies are your rainbow, not the sprinkle ones, the M&M cookies.
Yes.
That I'm head over heels in love with. And you also have this delicious toasted marshmallow shake.
Yes, the milkshake marshmallow.
And then when I go to the Cakechef, I love your walnut kringle. That's something that's amazing. And you have this coffee, this frozen coffee, which really accompanies everything you folks have there. And this great strawberry shortcake, which is your signature cake, in my opinion.
Yes. And the coffee that you're talking about, the refreshing icy coffee drink, is the crema de cafe that we have. It's a chiller that keeps the coffee nice and icy. So it's really delicious and refreshing.
It's so awesome. So Maria, it was so fantastic having you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being featured on the show. And if you want to learn more about the brand of the Cakechef and of each location, you can follow Cakechef Bakery on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow Cakechef's Piece of Cake on Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow the Cookie Jar NYC on Facebook and Instagram, or Instagram and Facebook, however I said it respectively.
Thank you.
Also visit the websites too. Thecakechef.com is the website for the Cakechef Bakery. Cakechefcookiejar.com is the website for the cookie jar. And pieceofcakenyc.com is the website for Piece of Cake. And you could also actually, if you really want to go crazy, you can actually do a virtual tour down a Piece of Cake on Google Maps too, which is a big deal. You can see inside the place and inside the cookie jar as well. And so you can be able to see these businesses, in such an amazing light. And they're all under one great brand, the Cakechef brand. And it's really a huge deal. And it's a fantastic organization that you folks have. And it's an ever-growing organization. You're like the Energizer Bunny, basically, with your business. You never stop going. You just keep going. And that's how you have to be in a business. And you mentioned this before. When you own a business, it's no 9 to 5. You pound the pavement constantly in the business. You pound it in your sleep. You pound it when you're on vacation. You have your iPhone. That's you have your laptop with you when you're going away. When you're at home, you're probably looking at all the sales reports and do things like that, and making sure you figure out ways to improve your business each and every day.
And you dream about it, even when you're not consciously thinking about it, you subconsciously keep making, new dreams for yourself with, like James will be somebody who dreams of a new recipe, a new cook, and I'll be dreaming of, what new bakery can we open down the line? Or what do we do for the holidays? What special promo or special gift basket can I get together that'll look beautiful for someone for the holiday, So yeah, we're dreaming even when we're not.
We're dreaming big.
Yeah.
Exactly. A great man once said, and you know exactly who I'm referring to, if you could dream it, you can do it.
Yes.
That's the reality here. And you know what? Hard work, intelligence, a technical know-how, um, interpersonal skills that are so important. The culmination of those elements really makes your business what it is, and will make your business continue to be what it will be. And that's just the reality here. That's why your business is the way it is.
Thanks, Joe. A lot of hard work, a lot of people, they don't realize what goes into it, but there is a lot of long hours and thinking about it in order to develop and make an idea come to fruition that needs to take place in order for you to be successful at it. And any entrepreneur will tell you, as well as you, Joseph, that if you're going to be dedicated and your heart is in the right place, that's already, you're on your road to success.
Exactly. And let me tell you something, when you own a business, sometimes, you feel like you're walking 2 steps forward and 10 steps backwards, but you can never focus in the backward. You always keep moving forward, even during the worst and worst of times. So you have to
Yeah,
keep moving forward as a business owner.
exactly. You have to always look at the future, be optimistic. Always going to be things in your way, obstacles. You just have to learn how to circumvent them, whether it is blow through those circumstances or make an easier way to go around it, jump over it. You have to be innovative. You have to really understand that there's a lot of different ways to get through an issue and also to survive. So if you have the motivation and the determination, then all of those obstacles really are insignificant, and you learn how to navigate them very well the longer you're in business.
Well, it was so great having you on the show today, Maria, and I really thank you for participating on the show. We really
My
covered a lot.
for having me.
Thank you for being on, and this was episode 6 of the Next Level series, and I am signing off now. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and have a wonderful day. And this is a great thing being involved in this aspect, and working. This organization is just incredible. I got to tell you.
Thank you, and look forward to the next shop real soon.
My lips are sealed, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.